Hey guys, JustinSlaght. This is my review of Jack the Giant Slayer. Alright, before I start this review, just a quick side note here. The videos, I post these on thatguywiththeglasses.com now, for some extra feedback or whatever. If you haven't heard of that site, go check it out. You're missing out on a bunch of cool stuff like the Nostalgia Critic, Linkara, and Angry Joe. Just a cool site. Give it a look. You'll be highly entertained. Anyway, enough of that. Let's talk about Jack. I don't know Jack. But I've heard of the fairy tale that it's based off, of Jack and the Beanstalk. As far as memory serves in me, as a kid, all I remember is Jack sold his horse for some magical beans. He got magical beans, and his dad gets mad, throws him outside, and then it turns into a gigantic fucking beanstalk. And then Jack climbs all the way up it, finds a giant. That's all that I remember. My memory is very blank when it comes to old fairy tales. But anyway, let's talk about Jack the Giant Slayer. Well, movie studios have been doing this for a while now. Taking fairy tales and, making them darker. Like, we just had Hansel and Gretel, which was fucking abysmal. You had Snow White and the Huntsman, a movie that I actually really liked. And then you have Red Riding Hood, which was fucking terrible. So, this is an easy way to get some money, How can people, tell a story that's been told a million times as a fairy tale? I have an idea. Let's make it dark and edgy and filled with action-packed stuff. And that's what we have here. I don't remember the actor who plays Jack in this movie. I know his first name is Nicholas. I know his last name starts with an H. I don't have notes in front of me, so I can't really, tell you their names. But anyway, this movie follows the exact same storyline of the old fairy tale, except with a different title. And instead of there being one monster, now there's several. And like I said earlier, it's way more darker. There's a lot more action. And it's a little bit more complicated than the old fairy tale, if I'm not mistaken. For one, you have the king, who's played by Stanley Tucci, who says, or was Ian McShane? Well, one of them, Stanley Tucci plays the secondary bad guy, and he's your typical villain. Like, he's the mustache twirling villain. He's the penguin with the top hat. You've seen this 1,000 times, and I can't believe Stanley Tucci's in this, actually. I can't believe Ian McShane's in this, for fuck's sake. And then you have Obi-Wan Kenobi, or Ian McGregor, who plays a soldier. Here's something that's interesting about this this film. Let me get right down to it. Some of the positives first. I love how there's no love triangle between Jack, this chick who I can't remember her name, and Obi-Wan's character. At first, I thought that Ian McGregor had the hots for this chick. And I was like, oh god, here we go again with the love triangle bullshit. I've seen this 1,000 times, or 1,000,000 times actually. But he kind of takes a step back a little bit, saying, you know what, Jack, you don't have to get with that. It's not worth it, man. And then as the movie goes on, he becomes more and more likable to me. Like I really like how Ian McGregor plays him. He's kind of cool. He's probably the most developed character out of everyone in this. Which that's kind of the problem too. Some people might not like this. Some might. But there's no character development in this. Not that much, anyway. I mean, we don't know jack shit about Jack. We don't know nothing about the Giants. We don't know nothing about the lead chick. We don't know anything about the king. We don't know anything. Now, sometimes character development is not always needed. I understand that. But it'd be nice, since you're basing this off of a fairy tale that's already been told loads of times. It's not that hard. I mean, I assume that Bryan Singer, who is the director of this, he directed X-Men and X-Men 2. I think he said to himself, you know what? People already know this story. I don't have to have character development. Well, you kind of do. I mean, it's not like I'm bashing him because, he's a good director. At least I think so. And you have to develop your characters, especially your main character. I mean, come on. I mean, it's not that hard. I mean, it's not. These aren't terrible characters. I mean, you don't like dislike them or anything, or at least I didn't. But it'd be nice. It's a pretty looking movie. I mean, the special effects are special effects. I don't think anyone cares anymore because CGI is now our future, pretty much. The Giants look cool at first. Bill Nye plays the main troll bad guy in the movie. And then I start to ask myself, where do all these trolls come from? I never saw any female trolls, so how do they breed on top of this floating city that they live in, or this floating rock that they live on? I don't understand. One of the things I absolutely loved about this movie is the scene with the Beanstalk. That was just an amazing scene to watch, because in the fairy tale, it takes them like an hour, like 30 minutes to climb up this big, giant, fucking green tree. And okay, this is completely different. They're freaking climbing up stuff. Thunderstorms are happening. They have to camp out. It's real, because this thing is huge. It's ginormous. And I found that very entertaining and very interesting. The Beanstalk looked really good in CGI. The Jack character from the fairy tale, was kind of a bitch. In this, which there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you don't always have to have a heroic person all the time. Your main character can be, accidental and silly and still be a hero. And in this, he's still kind of he's still kind of silly, but he's more heroic, kinda. Not throughout the film, but most of the time, he tries. I mean, I have to give him credit. He does try and step up to these trolls. Or giants, as you want to call them from the movie. I just call them trolls because I played so many video games. There's not really much to talk about. I mean, I don't want to spoil anything if anyone still wants to see this movie. Which, I never said in the beginning, do I like this film or do I hate it? I liked it for what it was. I mean, I really wasn't expecting much from it. I mean, every time I saw a commercial for this, I was like, it's just another movie. You know, I mean, I just like, it looks cool, I guess. I mean, and then when I saw it, I had the same reaction. It was cool, I guess. So that's my review. It's cool, I guess. No, I'm kidding. I guess I'll give my rating here because there's not really much that I can add. This one's tough. If you haven't seen, or if you haven't read the fairy tale, you might learn something from this. You know, it might, you know, you might actually like this more than the original fairy tale, because I know there's people out there that say those kind of things. As for me, if you've heard about this story before, and you just want to see the pretty visuals and the action scenes, and there's some goofy comedy in here, like, because I don't know who this movie is marketed for. I don't know if it's marketed for kids or for adults, because the adult stuff is with like the action scene and stuff, or the action scenes, but the kids stuff is the troll stuff, like they're picking their nose, they're farting. Now, they did this in The Hobbit, but they were less terrifying than these things are. But as this movie stands, I think it has okay acting, I guess. It's got some good visuals, really cool badass scene with the Beanstalk. There's some underdeveloped characters. If you've heard this story already, you probably won't care to see this. I would say a rental is the best way I can give this movie. It's a rental. I mean, I probably won't see it again. It's not an overachiever. It's not an underachiever. It's just kind of there. I mean, if you see it in the theater, I don't think you'll waste your money nor your time. I think you'll be thoroughly entertained with what you get. And that's it. That's it for me. Thank you for watching this review. I hope it was very helpful. I don't think it was helpful. But just to give you my 2 cents, it is an entertaining movie, and I would give it a shot. That's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. I am JustinSlaght. Take care, and I'll see you next week.